It's weird writing this. I have been lurking on this subreddit for quite some time and never thought I would be in a situation like this. Forgive me if this is all over the place. I am trying to still process this all. Before I tell the problem at hand, I would like to just give a little context since this situation is kinda unique. I have known my wife for 12 years. When we were younger, we dated for a little while, but it was high school, and it didn't last very long. Also, she was a grade or two younger than me, so we kind of went our own ways. Even though we broke up back then, I would always make it a point to be her friend and just talk to her normally because we got along very well. As time went on, we lost touch and went through life. We ended up meeting again on a dating site and ended up talking again, eventually dating. I was 23, I believe, and was living that bachelor life. I drank all the time and worked part-time a local grocery store stocking shelves while living in a friend's basement. She had a very good paying job and seemed like she was heading in the right direction in life. At the time, I never understood why she would want to date me in that state, and she always said I had potential to be something great. I didn't really have any goals or motivation to progress my life in the same regard as she did. I wasn't depressed or anything to that sort, but I guess I was content with my shitty life at that point. She made this statement very early in our relationship that always stuck with me. She told me pretty much what her goals were. She said she wanted to have a house, a kid, and be married, and then asked me if I wanted those same things. I didn't know how to respond at the time, but she pretty much said, "This is what I am looking for. If you don't want to work towards that with her, then she didn't think it would work in the long run." After some time, I made it my goal to give those things she wanted to her. I moved out of my friends and in with her. She helped me find a very good paying job. My life started to get better. While I was living with her, she got tired of her good paying job, and we both agreed it wasn't good for her mental health, so she had got a job paying a lot less, and we made it financially work. I proposed to her and she accepted, of course. This is where everything gets weird. At the time, we shared everything and spent a lot of time together. We shared one car, so I would bring her to work and pick her up when I was out. We fought a lot over stupid petty shit, but we were in love. I would do anything for her. My girl is one of those people that wear her heart on her sleeve, so when something at work happened, she would always vent to me. She is hot-headed and I am very calm and collective, so it worked. She started talking to me about all the people she worked with and stuff, and I grew to know them through her experience. I noticed she started to talk about one guy she worked with in particular a lot more. Let's call him Joe. I simply ignored it because I am not a jealous person and thought she would never cheat on me. Then one day she told me there was a work party that they were throwing for their staff. Her company she worked for did this pretty often, so I didn't think much of it. It was kind of far away, so I just asked her if she needed me to pick her up, and she said no. She would get a ride home with one of her co-workers. Time goes by and it's 12 a.m. I texted her and she said they were on the way back. Time goes on and it's 2:30 a.m. She finally came in the door and was kinda drunk. I knew there would be alcohol involved. I was kinda pissed because before this point she was always with me and had never came home so late. So we got into it. We fought for a while, and I'm pretty sure it ended up coming out that Joe brought her home. She didn't really deny it, but said he was bringing home a CPL other, so it would be okay. We fight and I go to bed. I started to get suspicious of something going on between these two, but didn't want to acknowledge it to come off like the crazy jealous boyfriend. At this point I had no proof of anything, and I thought we were madly in love, so I dismissed these feelings as hearsay. Then maybe a month or two later, we were getting ready for bed, and at the time her mother was going through something. She would always sleep with her phone near her, as did I. It was like 12 in the morning, and her phone kept going of like texts were coming in. Let me state, I would never go through her phone until this day, never have again. But I was concerned about her mother, and though something bad may have happened. So I just opened up her phone and saw Snapchat messages from Joe. My heart sank into my chest and something told me not to, but I opened it. It was a message saying "I love you" with a picture of him. I instantly woke her up and asked her what the fuck this shit is. It disappeared because that it is Snapchat, so I couldn't show her. She said I and heavily insisted that it was meant for Joe's baby mother and was sent to her in accident. I should also add I knew she talked to him and a lot of her co-workers to some degree. We argued for a while, but she was very convincing and I choose to believe her. We would continue to get in arguments about this over the whole course of our marriage, and she admitted to me that she liked the attention he gave her, but nothing ever came of it. I didn't really have any proof she did anything else, so I tried to believe her as time went on, but always felt some way about it. A few months go by and she finds out she is pregnant. I am filled with so much joy that I will be a father. Time goes on, and few months after the announcement of pregnancy, we got married. I ended up starting a business and it somewhat is successful. Life goes on. We buy a house, 2 cars, and live the happy dream life. As crazy as this may sound, but the other night I had this crazy dream out of nowhere. My wife and I have not really been fighting as of late, so I don't know where it came from, but it was pretty much reliving the night she came home at 2 in the morning drunk. In the dream she told me she cheated on me. I woke up out of anger and yelled at her to fuck off. She was really confused and kept asking me what was wrong, but I fell asleep again. I woke up that morning and remembered everything about the dream and started to think about all of that stuff that happened back then. The shit was really bothering me. She woke up finally and asked what was that all about last night. I simply said, I know you cheated on me and I forgive you. I honestly didn't really know if she did, but had this feeling to press her on it. She just looked at me and looked shocked. I said, please just tell me the truth and we can work things out. She said, I am so sorry. I literally couldn't believe it. I still can't. I started to ask her questions, and it turns out she had some kind of relationship with him for 6 months right before we got married. If it was a fuck buddy kind of thing or something more. I asked her about the I love you snap and she told me that he did love her, and that she never said it back to him, which I do not believe. She also told me she had sex with him among other things more than once. I started to think, since this all happened around the time my kid was born, so maybe my child is not mine. I asked her and she said there is no way that it is possible because they used protection and ended it 1 month before my son was supposedly conceived. She keeps apologizing to me and saying that she wanted to tell me but didn't know how to. I am literally numb and don't know how to feel. Even though she did this very selfish act back then, I am almost positive she isn't that person anymore. She used to be kind of needy for attention from anyone who gave it to her, and she isn't like that now. She is a good mother and wife, but in the same I feel kinda like our whole marriage was based on a lie. I spent most of my life with her trying to give her the things she wanted, and now am questioning why and what for. This happened Friday and I kinda just been keeping my distance because I don't know what to say. I don't even know if I want to get a paternity test for my son because I love him with all of my being and I don't want to love him less or even think of that whole ordeal. Should I throw away this life I built? Get a test. Forgive her. Edit. Thanks to you who gave support and good advice. Some of you others need Jesus. Kicking a man when he is down and lost on an advice subreddit is just cruel. I understand I was very ignorant back then and wanted to believe in the best of someone I was going to marry at that time. Fault me for being human. STD was before this happened. I looked through my paperwork, so I could have very well gave her it at that point. Who knows? Also, I did get a test yesterday, so now we wait.